Christy Greenberg is the former deputy chief of the criminal division for the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York. Danya Perry also serves as prosecutor for the Southern District of New York, and she represented Michael Cohen during this trial, and they joined me now. I want to start with you, Danya, in sort of both of those roles. We had you on last night as Michael Cohen's attorney, and obviously you know these criminal justice system very well. We were going back and forth today internally on whether the gag order is still in effect. Do you know if it is or not?
Great question. Michael called me today and he said, I think Trump just violated the gag order. He's calling me a sleazeball and all manner of things. And I had to look it up. It seems that Justice Merchan has not lifted it, so it is still in place and will remain so until either he loses jurisdiction on appeal or he lifts it. So
that's your understanding?
That is my understanding.
That it is, because he clearly was attacking Michael Cohen as one of the witnesses. Now, there's some people who say the gag order is there to preserve the integrity of the trial. The trial's over, so maybe it's gone. But your understanding is that it's still in effect.
I had thought that was the purpose was you don't want to infect the jurors or the jury pool before they're impaneled. You don't want to intimidate the witnesses. So in some logical way, you think, well, it's done when the trial's done. But no, there still is a sentencing. There still is this maybe just like a penumbra or a cloud that still hangs over. I mean, I think that there's, passions are inflamed for sure, anger around the country. And so I know personally from Michael's experience and even derivatively from my own that there is a tremendous amount of rancor, to say the least, out there that is still directed at the trial witnesses, and no doubt at the jurors, were they to their anonymity to be lost, which that will remain in place, of course.
Yes, although there was some reporting today of certain message boards that are, fans of the former president attempting to dox them and trying to get people to go after them. Let's talk brass tacks here, Christy, on the what happens next. So a lot of questions about sentencing. I mean, I guess the first question is, okay, so we're going to that sentencing on July 11th might get pushed back a little bit, but it's probably going to happen sometime this summer. What do you think's reasonable? Just level set for us. If you were working in that office to ask for, or for a judge to grant for a sentence here.
Well, the first thing they're going to do is look at what probation recommends in their report.
Which is, I mean, that's going to happen probably in the next few weeks, that he's going to sit down with a probation officer?
Yes.
Presumably in New York?
Yes.
Sitting there next to the Secret Service. I mean,
presumably
seriously,
so, yes.
With the PO there.
Right.
And the PO saying, so where were you? What was your last job? I mean, right? I'm doing a bit, but that's what's going to happen.
Yes.
Okay.
And they will go through all of their standard questions, though, again, so much of it is public knowledge with him. So maybe a bit redundant, but they will go through that process with him, and then they will come up with their recommendation. The parties will both get a copy of that report. Generally, that report is not made public, though you will see snippets of that report in both of the briefings from either side when they quote to that report.
And the report will generate a recommendation?
Yes.
Like a top line, like 4 months or time served or home confinement or whatever.
Yes. I mean, that's typically what you see.
That's the basic text. That's the template.
Yes. And so again, but neither party needs to follow that. But generally, the court does give that a fair amount of weight because they tend to be more neutral. So both parties will look at that. They will then decide, look, I think in this circumstance, I mean, in terms of thinking of what a fair sentence here would be, one thing that you look at, one factor, is relative culpability, right? So Michael Cohen has already been sentenced for the same thing, and he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Now, granted, he was also sentenced for other crimes,
yes,
and not just this one.
Right.
However, that was part of the sentence. And during that sentence, Judge Pauley said that, I'm paraphrasing here, but, that those campaign finance violations were a danger to democracy. And they were serious enough for him to use that kind of language. And we heard that same language in the closing here, where Joshua Steinglass said, you heard from Todd Blanche that, just influencing an election, that conspiring to do that, that's democracy. No, this was subversion of democracy, right? We need the electorate to be informed, to have access to accurate information, and this was an attempt to defraud the voters. And so when you have that same language mirroring in a sentence of someone who is I think admittedly less culpable than the person he was doing this at the direction of, it's hard to see how the prosecutors would not ask for prison here.
What do you think?
Can I just add in? Yeah, another thing the judge looks at is comparators. So they look at other sentences that other like defendants have received, not just in this case, Michael Cohen, as you say, but other defendants who've been convicted
defrauding business records and things like that, right?
And I looked at this. I co-authored a white paper for the Brookings Institution, and we looked at hundreds of other sentences. And
coming out of New York.
Coming out of New York for the exact same crime. And always with a bump up to a felony in this case. And people get prison terms, not just, even first-time offenders. Even, for the same type of crime, they will get a prison term. In this case, we have someone who subverted an election, as the jury found, and also has not only been unrepentant, of course, he didn't plead guilty to this, he was convicted, but he has constantly thumbed his nose at this judge and the system and has been contemptuous.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, my feelings about prison are, I think we wildly over-incarcerate. We have wildly too long sentences. We have far fewer people, and the American sentencing system is pretty messed up. So my desire to see him go to prison or jail is zero. I will say it's interesting that you note that, and I've been seeing this cavalcade of rich men, generally Elon Musk and others, being like, can you imagine? I mean, this is nuts. Someone going to jail for this? And it's like, yeah, dude, no, it actually does happen. I hate to break it to you. Christy Greenberg, Danya Perry, thank you both.